Today, I am going to give y'all my predictions for this Sunday's Pennzoil 400 at the Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Last year's running of this race was very exciting, and I expect the same excitement for this year's race with the next gen car. I'll talk more about that in a minute. But I'm also going to do a Pick 5 contest for this Sunday's race. And if you're wondering how to be entered, well, all you got to do is go down below to the comment section and type in who you think will finish in the top 5. If you go 5 for 5, you get an autograph of your choice. And if you go 4 for 5 in no particular order, you get an unsigned hero card of your choice. But just comment down below to be entered. It's totally free, but let's get started.
Ryan Priest, and you're watching William Blackwell on YouTube.
Before I get into this Sunday's race at Las Vegas, I am going to talk about this past weekend's race at Auto Club, the AAA 400. I think that's what it is. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comment section. But the race started off with a very unlikely front row. Very unlikely from last year's type of vehicles. But this year you got the next gen car, a equal playing field, or more equal, I guess you could say. But he had Austin Cindric as the pole sitter, and to his outside, you had young Eric Jones, that Jones boy. Early on, Austin Cindric did not get the launch he was hoping for, but that Jones boy did, and he led the first handful of laps. And around lap 10 or 11, that's when Tyler Reddick ended up passing him for the lead, and he did not look back. And around lap 16 is when Kyle Busch spun out. And it stacked up the field. That was a competition caution. They went back to racing, and we saw Tyler Reddick once again leading laps, dominating, and he won the first stage. And the stat was, if you won the first stage in Auto Club in years past, you're more than likely going to win the race. But stage 2 rolls around. Tyler Reddick's car is not fazed by the change of the track temperatures, and still up front, led a handful of laps in stage 2, and so did Chase Briscoe. Very surprising there. He had a bad car in Saturday's short practice and qualifying session. Johnny Klausmar got that thing turned around for today's race, or this past weekend's race, and they still came home 16th, but they did lead a lot of laps, which is a positive thing to take forward. But Tyler Reddick got past him and won stage 2. Things are looking very promising for Tyler Reddick at this point in time. Going into stage 3, the sun is still out, and you're still dominating. So no track change by the weather, I guess you could say. But they restarted. We saw an early spin out from Brad Keselowski. When they restart again, we see a little bit of a longer green flag run. Tyler Reddick gets a flat tire while leading. Going into turn 1, and Eric Jones passes him, but Reddick runs the wall. He wants to stay up high to avoid all the cars, but William Byron was, I don't know, I wouldn't blame him, but he had, I don't know, you can blame his spotter, but he had nowhere to go, and he ended up wrecking into Tyler Reddick. Tyler Reddick already had a lot of damage from the outside, this perspective towards the wall, and just to put the icing on the cake, William Byron hit him on the driver's side, which was going to hurt him very much aerodynamically. But he came into the pits, they put some tape over it, and they still went back out, but they were not as competitive as they once were. But they restarted again, and that's when we saw more players in the party, I guess you could say, or joining the party. We saw Chase Briscoe back up there. We saw Daniel Suarez. We saw Ross Chastain. We saw Austin Dillon, and Eric Jones obviously was up there all day long. But he came back into the front of the pack towards the last restart. And Chase Briscoe, as you expect, got burnt because he stayed out. And a couple laps later, a caution comes out for Ross Chastain, if I'm not mistaken. Bunches the field back up, a restart with 4 to go. Daniel Suarez on the front row alongside Kyle Larson. Suarez holds him off, and as they go to 2 to go, or 1 to go, 1 to 2, Suarez got past, and Kyle Larson did not look back, and Kyle Larson won the Fontana Auto Club 400. A great race overall. We've seen many cautions, and If this is a sign of things to come throughout the 2022 NASCAR season, we're going to be in for a big treat. We saw a lot of side-by-side action. We saw dirty air not as efficient as it was in the past, because dirty air pretty much affected how cars pass one another, and today they pass pretty simple and easily. So that's a big step forward for NASCAR. But one major red flag they need to cover, is tire. There is no inner liner in this year's tire in the Cup Series, and so when the tire goes flat, they're pretty much driving on the rim, which can be very dangerous. And NASCAR has tried to be safe as possible in years past, and this is a big red flag. Here's my suggestion. If you're going to keep it as is for the time being, so on. But you cannot just tow the drivers back to their pit box, because for one, that's going to take a lot of time, and for two, the driver will go down many laps. Just imagine if it happened at a Bristol. Brad Keselowski did it at Bristol. Let's assume this. He wrecked in the turn 2. His pit box is the very first one on the front stretch. He has a long way to go. So they're going to tow him. He's going to probably get lapped at least 5 or 6 laps. So they got to find a solution, and here's my solution. Let the safety trucks carry a spare tire and a jack. And a wrench, obviously. So they can put the tire on and let it, I don't know, stay on until they can at least get to pit road. And once they change that tire out, give it back to NASCAR. I just think that'd be the best way to go to prevent some of these drivers going to have to be towed and lose 3 to 4 laps. That was unacceptable. And that'd be very unfortunate to see the championship be decided by something like that, because it's very likely by the way things are going right now in the Cup Series. But that's a whole recap of Auto Club. Now we're going into Las Vegas. Winning this Sunday's Pennzoil 400 at the Las Vegas Motor Speedway will be the same driver that won this past weekend's race at Auto Club and last year's Pennzoil 400 at Las Vegas, which is the driver of the number 5 car, Kyle Larson. Young Money, a lot of people like to refer to him as, in the garage. But Kyle Larson is a very successful driver. And Las Vegas, I think, suits his talent, and he's going to win at least one stage. That is going to be a safe bet. Regardless of who the winner is, they're going to at least win one stage. Mark my word. But Larson's going to win a stage and end up getting the race win. So if this were to happen, back-to-back race wins, things are looking good as he go into Phoenix. But finishing runner-up to him will be the 22 car of Joey Logano. Out of the many drivers in the Cup Series that have really adapted well to this next-gen car, in my opinion, has been Joey Logano. Won right off the bat in the LA Coliseum. Not many people expected that. At least I didn't. And then he went to the Daytona 500. He was very competitive. Then he go to Fontana. Very competitive there. And had a chance to win the race at the end. And I thought he was going to chase down Kyle Larson at the end. He was very quick on the long run. But he did have a handful of cautions in the last 20 laps. So that pretty much hurt his chances of winning, because there is no way, and you know what, he was going to win off of his short run, because his short run speed was very bad. But Logano will finish runner-up this week. But finishing third will be the 12 car of Ryan Blaney. Ryan Blaney, this year in NASCAR, has been very up and down. All right, the Clash is all right for Blaney. But the Daytona 500 rolls around. He's just a couple hundred feet away from winning. His teammate puts him to the wall. He loses a couple positions. And he has to come home as a loser, not a champ. But when Auto Club rolls around, he finishes 16th. And that is a big step back after the Daytona 500. But I think he will land on his feet this weekend at Las Vegas. Ouch. And bring home a top 3 finish. And it would not surprise me at all to see Blaney win this race, because in the years past, out of all the teams in the Cup Series, the team that's dominated at Las Vegas has been the Penske organization. So keep them 2 drivers in Austin Cindric and Harrison Burton on your radar. Maybe the 2 rookies probably don't win this race, but they'll still be racing inside the top 15, which is, in my opinion, acceptable in today's NASCAR society, I guess you could say, because The rookies are so off pace and they're having to learn on the spot because of very short practice sessions. And last year, Chase Briscoe is a prime example. But look how he's doing this year. He's doing all right. But finishing fourth in this Sunday's race at Las Vegas will be the 3-car of Austin Dillon. Austin Dillon came home as the runner-up in this past Sunday's Fontana Auto Club 400. Very unexpected. If you would have told me out of the 2 RCR cars, Austin Dillon was going to get a top 5, I would have thought you were crazy. And he came home second, and then there was a lap left. One more lap. I think he would have chased down Kyle Larson and got past him. He had a lot of momentum with him. But he will come home this weekend in the 4th place. But rounding out your top 5 for this Sunday's race at Las Vegas can't be no other than Chase Elliot in the 9-car. Chase Elliot is coming off a very heartbreaking and devastating week in Auto Club. Started race, was up front, spun out, hit the wall many times. Very unfortunate. Goes a couple laps down, and at the end, gets back on the lead lap, going for the lead. His teammate puts him into the wall. He has to pit. He wrecks again. Very unfortunate. Bunch of highs and lows. And when the highs were high, they were high. But when the lows were low, they were very low for Chase Elliott. But I think they will rebound to bring home a top 5 finish, which is much needed. And there you go. My top 5 would be Larson, Logano, Blaney, Austin Dillon, and Chase Elliott. But my dark horse for this Sunday's race at Auto Club, Las Vegas, will be Ricky Stenhouse Jr. racing the 47 car for JTG Daugherty Racing, owned by Jody and Tad Schechter, and co-owned by NBA star Brad Daugherty. Brad Daugherty these last couple of years has been very exciting. It's been very intense to watch him on TV because how excited he is of finally being a competitive team and car week in and week out. When they started off in the 47 car with Bobby Labonte and AJ Allmendinger, things were not very promising. I know they picked up the win with Allmendinger back in Watkins Glen in 2014, holding off a hard-charging Marcus Ambrose. But besides that, things were very bad. But when Ricky Stenhouse Jr. came to the 2020 season with his team, things turned the page, and I like the way this team is heading, the direction, and they're going to grab a couple of wins this year, and it's not going to be only at a plate track. I think they will steal a win at an intermediate track, but which one? I like to say Atlanta, but time will tell. But Stenhouse brought home top 10 in Auto Club, and I expect for him to do the same thing in Las Vegas this Sunday. But there you go. There's my predictions for this Sunday's race at Las Vegas, the Pennzoil 400. But everybody, though, remember to please like and subscribe. And comment down below your opinions to be entered in this Sunday's contest. And also, how can I forget? Go subscribe to Righteous Redneck and Winning Bets on YouTube. Everybody have a good one. Peace.